Verney Sprint Triathlon it's on Sunday.
It is on Sunday.
Start with the basics. So welcome to the and Saturday. No, registration Saturday.
Registration Saturday. The race is definitely on Sunday.
Okay, so we're going to go through the athlete briefing. So thank you for coming along and watching. As always, if you are on YouTube or on Facebook, if you've got any questions or comments, please put them in the comments section down below, and they should find their way through to us, and we'll go through those towards the end of the broadcast. We have put a clock down. Which way to point? That way, down there, because we do have a habit of taking a long time to do these briefings. So we're putting ourselves on a very strict clock. So that's how long we've got. We can see it ticking down there. All right. So the idea here is to go through the athlete guide. We're going to summarise some of it. We'll go through the important points and make sure you know exactly what's what and all the information you need to know. But again, if you've got any questions, then pop them down below, and we'll go through those in good time. Right. So I'm just going to pop across onto the athlete guide here first of all. There we go. And we're going to run through these. Now, again, I'm not going to go through these in fine detail, but hopefully, let's start by asking or saying that hopefully you should all have your athlete guide by now. They were sent out a couple of days ago and sent by email. If you haven't had them, please let us know ASAP. They were all sent out and may have gone into spam or, I don't know, disappeared.
I think a couple of people have got different email addresses from the ones that I used. So please make sure that you let us know if you haven't already had it, because there's a lot of information in there that we don't want you to miss. Yeah,
no, absolutely. So drop us an email. If you haven't had it, drop us an email to inquiries@do3.co.uk, and we'll make sure you get a copy sent over ASAP, because there is a lot of information that you need to be aware of in there. All right, so first of all, let's talk about the race venue. So we have moved the venue from last year we had it at Compton Verney, the art gallery, and we had the race over there. This time we've moved across the road to Park Farm, Compton Verney. So still within the Compton Verney hamlet, still Capability Brown design grounds and all that kind of stuff. Absolutely beautiful. So we've gone across the road to Park Farm. We've got a bit more room over there. So we're not, let's make this clear, we're not at the Compton Verney art gallery. All right, so across the road at Park Farm. So we'll go through locations and things in a second, a little bit more detail, so you know where to park and come on registration day and things like that. But just to start off then, so registration is the first thing you need to do. You need to come along and register, and you can either do that on Saturday or Sunday. We do recommend, if you can, you come on Saturday. That's open from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. It'll make it easier on the day. The queues will be a bit smaller. In reality, I think it's going to be a little bit less stressful for you on race day morning if you come along and do that day before. At least all that's done. You don't have to worry about that. But yeah, 7 till 9. And if you can't do it on the Saturday, then clearly you can come and register on the Sunday. Registration opens at 4:30, as does the car park, and it's open until 7:30. Okay, so registration 4:30 till 7:30 on the Sunday morning. And transition time, transition is open for you to put your bike in, get your kit ready from 4:30 as well. Okay, now obviously you need to get yourself down to the race start, get yourself ready. So we recommend that you don't leave it too late putting your bike in transition.
No, it's probably from the car park to the registration, it's probably about a 15-minute walk. And the walk from transition, once you've racked your bike and everything, down to the lake is probably about 5-10 minutes. But everybody will be queuing up in number order, so allow yourself a little bit of extra time. So maybe allow yourself 15 minutes to get down to the race start as well. So don't leave it too late. Allow for the possibility of queues. We've got over 200 people racing, and if everybody decides to turn up at the same time, it could put quite a lot of pressure on our registration team. So yeah, if you can register on the Saturday evening, that would be great. Please don't come before 7 o'clock, because we won't be there. We won't have the information there. So 7 till 9 on Saturday would be great. That would certainly make our lives and probably your life easier.
Yep. Okay. And also, before the event, something else you've got to do is you've got to fill out your pre-event questionnaire. You should have had the link sent through to you. Well, they were all certainly sent out. When were they go out? They went out a few days ago, didn't they?
I think
Last
they
week
went
sometime.
out over the weekend sometime, Saturday possibly.
So you should have had those links. There's some information, important information that we need to get from you in there. So if you haven't had that, again, make sure you drop us a message and we'll send you the link through. But the link is also in the athlete guide. So as long as you've got that, you're all good. It's on page 6 of the athlete guide. You'll see the link there under before the event. You need to put your swim time in there and various other bits and bobs, health declaration, and you'll see what you need if you go into the guide. But swim time is really important because we're going to be setting people off in swim time order. So the speedy ones are going first and the not quite so speedy ones going a little bit further back. If we don't get your swim time, you will be going off, you'll be put at the back of the field. So so it's in your best interest to make sure that you get the swim time in, and then you'll be swimming around people who are swimming of a similar speed to you. Okay, so try and get that in.
I'm hoping to get the swim times out to everybody tomorrow. So please get your swim times to us today. And then we can release everybody's individual start time hopefully tomorrow. We're still waiting on about 50 people to fill in their swim times. So if that's you, please try and do it today, or else, as Dave said, we'll end up just putting you towards the back.
Yeah. Okay, so again, on just going through the race guide again, going on to the addresses, and just make sure you know exactly where you're going on race day. So the car park, where you obviously need to park, there's a little diagram in the athlete guide there for you. So you need to come down Spring Lane, which is off the Fossway, to the car park, which is a field on this left turn if you come from the Fossway, and it'll be signposted, and there'll be staff there to kind of welcome you and point you in the direction of where you need to park, and that will be open obviously from 4:30 on race day, and also on the Saturday evening for you to register too, and again 7 till 9 for that. Get my emails coming in the screen there. The car park is there. Please don't park anywhere else. That is the only parking available for both the race and for registration. So on race day and the day before registration, please only park there. And we say that because a bit confusion. Some people may want to try and park over at Compton Verney main house, the art gallery. We can't use that at all. And also the Park Farm main entrance, the main entrance to the actual kind of Park Farm estate itself is you can't drive along there either, because we're going to be using that for race day. So the only place you can go is off Spring Lane. I think I've made that quite clear now, haven't I? There is a what 3 words location, which is in the athlete guide as well. So if you're not sure and you can't get your sat nav to find it or whatever, if you've got what 3 words, then pop that in and you'll be able to find it that way. In terms of parking, there should be plenty of parking. There's there is between, depending on how many turn up, 250 and 300 competitors on the day. There's also going to be spectators' cars and things like that. So there's going to be lots of cars there, but there should be plenty of parking. You're then going to have to walk down and follow the signs to the registration area. Now, if you register on Sunday morning, when you arrive, depending on how early you come, if you come super early at 4:30 when it first opens, it's going to still be dark at that point, although it rapidly gets light not long after that. So you shouldn't be too bad. But if you do come at 4:30, please make sure you bring some kind of torch with you. It will be signposted, and we can try and get some little lights out to kind of guide your way. But if you could kind of be a little bit self-sufficient on that score, that would be good, with a head torch or a mobile phone or something like that, so you can see where you're going. It is kind of cross-country. It's down across a field. It's not too bad, is it? But it's between some trees. It's kind of a grassy walk. It's quite a nice walk, actually, across to registration. And it's probably about 300 metres, maybe, something like that. Do you think it's further than that? You're looking at me like it's going to be further than that. So maybe it's a little bit more than that. But certainly allow yourself 10 or 15 minutes. That should be sufficient to get yourself across there.
Yeah, bring your bike and all your kit down when you come to register, rather than coming down to register, then going back to your car and then going back to transition, because it will be a long trek otherwise. Yeah,
we'll have some racking, kind of racking at the side where you can put your bikes while you're registering. So we've got some racking time to one side to do that, to help you do that. So just allow yourself plenty of time.
When you actually come to the registration desk, there'll be 2 desks, one for the middle distance race and one for the sprint distance race. And then there'll be 2 queues at each desk, depending on whether you're a British Triathlon member or whether you're not a British Triathlon member. So there will be signs saying which queue to join, but just be prepared that don't just join the shortest queue, because you might then be sent to the back of the other one.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
Get grumpy first thing in the morning. Don't want that. Okay, just a few bits in terms of what's available at the venue. So we're going to be having some catering there. There's going to be some boxy coffee there. Is in their Range Rover or Land Rover, or converted Land Rover. I should get that right, shouldn't I? But they'll be there for you who like your proper coffee in the morning or after race. So that's there with some pastries and things. And there's also T&B Cakes are there. Anyone who does open water swimming with us will know they make some pretty damn good cakes.
Very good cakes.
So they're going to be there with their cakes and also I believe bacon sandwiches,
bacon baps and sausage rolls, I think.
Yeah, sausage rolls. So lots of food there available. So that should be fine if you want some of that. West Midlands Wetsuit Hire will also be there. So they've got a little retail store. So it's more for if you've kind of got any last minute bits and bobs that you've forgotten your goggles or I don't know, race number belt, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Then should be there for you to pick up some last minute bits and bobs. Velo Fix is there. Louis from Velofix is there. He is there on the Sunday morning only, so not the Saturday. So if you get out of bed on Sunday morning, you realise your wheels fallen off or something, there's something wrong with your bike, he will be there. Bearing in mind there's going to be over 200 of you. He will be there to try and help you out. He'll do the best he can, and he can only do one at a time. But he is there if you're in an absolute emergency and you've got something wrong with your bike which you can't sort out yourself. But obviously it goes without saying, try and make sure that your bike is nice and roadworthy before you attend the event, because the bikes will be checked before you take them into the transition area to rack them up ready for the race. Might as well cover that now while we're talking about it. So when you do take your bike in, it will be checked by staff to make sure it is safe and roadworthy. There's some quite strict guidelines that we have to comply with from British Triathlon, and also basic safety to make sure that the bike is roadworthy, to keep you safe and obviously keep other people safe on race day. Particularly things like the brakes are working properly, and you have your bar ends with little stoppers in them. And again, as I explained in the middle distance briefing, if you're not sure what they are, at the end of your handlebars, if you've got an open round tube, either on a straight bar for mountain bikes, or if you've got kind of drop bars on your road bike, the bar ends are the little plugs that go in the end. So you haven't got any kind of raw metal edges on your handlebars. Really important for safety. So please make sure they are plugged up.
And that's the same if you've got the tri bars, the aero bars, the little ones that stick out the front of your bike. Those ones need to be plugged. Some have gears on the end and some don't, so they need to be closed as well.
Yep. Okay. Toilets, they're always popular before races. There's going to be some toilets near the swim start. There's a few toilets there. There's also going to be toilets at transition, so don't worry. There's going to be places for you to nip to the loo when you need to. So that's that. Okay, so registration, I've told you the times already, 7 till 9 on Saturday, 4:30 till 7:30 on Sunday morning. You do need to bring, if you're a British Triathlon member, you do need to bring your valid and in-date British Triathlon membership card. Because if you don't, we will have to charge you a one-day license fee. Or British Triathlon will have to charge you, I should say, because they get the money. But yeah, so if you don't have a valid BTF card with you, and we can't kind of prove that you are a valid member, then we will have to ask you to pay for a one-day license, which is £6. And you'll have to pay it there and then, and you can't race without it. So please bear that in mind. You said something about copies and things, didn't you?
Yeah, BTF don't actually issue the plastic cards anymore, so you will be able to find your sort of your license, as it were, on your BTF profile. So if you log into your account on the British Triathlon membership page, you can see your membership card on there, and that's all you need to show at registration. So either you can show it on your phone, or it's probably safer to take a screenshot of it, making sure that you've got all the information, including your number and your the expiry date and your photograph in that screenshot. You might have to take a couple to cover all the information, because there's not great phone reception where we are, so it'll be safer to have a screenshot of the information than to rely on being able to download it on data.
Okay. On registration, you'll be given your registration pack. So they'll be collected, obviously not sent out to you, they'll be collected when you go and register on the Saturday or the Sunday. They will include your race numbers, a little bracelet, wristband, numbered wristband, and some numbers for your bike, so that we can kind of cross-match that you are who you think you are, and you're one of the racers, and we can match you to your bike for safety, security reasons on the bikes and that kind of thing. You'll also get a swim hat. I can never remember which colour's which.
The sprint race is yellow, so your wristband, your hat, and your number should all be yellow.
Okay, and if you have one, bring a race number belt. If you haven't, then again, you've got West Midlands wetsuit hire there. If you don't want to do any of those things, we can give you some safety pins.
Yep.
All right, but I think that's it in terms of registration. Anything else you can think of?
Nope.
For that side of things. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is you're going to need to rack your bike, take your bike into transition and get it ready for the race itself. The transition area is going to be divided up into two areas. So there will be a dedicated area for the sprint athletes and the middle distance athletes. It should be clear which area you need to go into. I guess one of them is going to be they're going to be start going out, aren't they?
Yeah, the middle distance race will already be underway when you, unless you rack your bike very early. The middle distance race starts at 7 o'clock. So they will be coming into transition maybe when you're racking your bike, which is why we've got the separate areas. We're not closing transition this year like we did last year. So you can rack any time up to about 7:30, 7:45. But please make sure that you only go into the area that's allocated for the sprint race, because we don't want people to be getting in the way of those who are running through transition in the middle distance.
Yeah. So the transition, again, it's divided into two halves. The entrance, there will be an entrance to transition for you to take your bikes in. That'll be closed during the race. It's a separate entrance to where it is during the race. So you'll go in, and you as sprint athletes will be the first racks that you see. The middle distance athletes will be over the other side, and you won't have any course to go over there. So you go in, rack your bike. There'll be numbered racking, so you will have to put your bike specifically where your number is, and then come back out the same way you went in.
Yeah. When in terms of which side of the rack you put your bike, if you have the number facing towards you, you should also have your bike facing towards you. So your saddle goes over the rack and the handlebars should be towards you as you're looking at your number.
Okay. Again, your bike will be checked, as will your helmet. So you get to make sure that when you take your bike into transition, you've got your helmet on and it is clipped, because that will be checked. We can't have anyone racing with a helmet that is not suitable, doesn't fit, doesn't clip up. And also, when you clip the helmet, just kind of make sure you can get a few fingers underneath, in between your chin and the strap. If it's hanging down here or loose, then it won't be any good, because obviously it can come off if you do manage to come off your bike. So just make sure it's clipped up and it's reasonably tight.
And you should have your numbers on your helmet and your bike when you go into transition as well. And just to remind you, transition is only open for competitors. You can't take any family members into transition. That's part of the British Triathlon rules. Only racing athletes can go into transition.
There will be staff around if you're not sure about what to do. If you get a bit confused, then there will be some staff around to point you in the right direction. Has that just gone off?
Looks like it.
No, we lost the camera. Okay, spare me 2 seconds. I think what we can do is we can go on here. In fact, we'll carry on. We'll carry on with no camera for now. And if you give me 2 seconds, I'm going to switch this off.
So in terms of when you've put all your bike and your kit in transition, please don't leave any boxes or big bags in transition. Just a small bag is fine. But obviously, if we have too much kit in there, it could get in the way of other athletes. So please be considerate of where you put stuff. You can only put it next to your bike, and take anything excess out of transition and leave it in your car, please, or with your spectators. It'll probably take you 10 minutes to walk down to the lake start, I think I said, and then we'll be queuing you up in number order. So then we'll go on to... swim if there's nothing
Yep.
else you want to
Yep.
say on the
Okay.
transition.
Yeah, apologies, I lost the camera there. Hopefully it'll come back in a second, but just carry on with this anyway. Okay, so onto the swim. So the swim, again, it's the course description and the images within the athlete guide there, so you should be able to see that. It's a simple single loop 400-meter course, swimming clockwise. Never worked that out. No, it is clockwise.
It is clockwise.
It is clockwise. Just a single loop. You guys will be swimming around the yellow buoys. Again, just look at the actual kind of the map within the athlete guide. What will happen is you will queue up to get into the lake. As you get into the water, you'll see a big orange buoy in front of you. You will swim past the orange buoy with the orange buoy on your left, and that will take you onto the kind of the 400-meter loop itself. Then you'll follow the yellow buoys on your right-hand side.
Yeah, you'll once you've gone past the orange buoy on your left, the next buoy that is a yellow one, and that's where you turn across the lake. So you turn at the first yellow buoy, which is a lot of the buoys are triangular or pyramid shape, but the turn buoy for your race is big tall cylinder, because the buoys will still be in the lake from the middle distance race, which is obviously a bigger loop. So there'll be a kayaker sitting at the turn buoy, and the buoy will be a different shape, and that's your first turn.
Okay. Obviously, continue around the course, 400 meters, and then you'll go past another orange buoy again on your left-hand side, and then you'll be turning to the left towards the exit. And the exit is a different point to where you get in. They're about they're about 10 yards apart from each other, aren't they? But they should be nice and clear for you to see for a single 400-meter loop. There are kayaks, so there's a couple of kayaks out. There was several kayaks out there, spotters and lifeguards, that kind of thing. If you get into difficulty, you're not happy for any reason, then just give them a big old wave, and we will see you, and we'll come and see if you're okay. So please don't worry about that. Just give us a wave, and the safety staff will come and check on you. Do you want to talk about wetsuits?
Yeah, various questions about wetsuits and water quality and all sorts. So start with water quality. The lake is about as clean as you could expect for any natural lake. The water tests that we've had done have come back with all excellent results. So it's beautifully clean and clear. So it's about as good as you could get. In terms of temperature, we expect it to be round about 20 degrees, maybe up to 21, 22, which means you can, we have a wetsuit exemption rule for this race. So you can wear a wetsuit at whatever temperature or not. It's entirely up to you. So wetsuits can be shorty wetsuits, so sleeves or no sleeves, short legs or arms, or covering the whole of down to your ankle and your wrists. So any wetsuit will be fine. If you don't want to wear a wetsuit, that's absolutely fine too. You can't wear any booties or socks or anything in the race, and you won't need to sort of get into the water, because all the entry and the exit points are all matted, so you should be fine without any shoes needed to protect your feet. So that's all fine. For those who swim with us at Compton Verney, normally we would ask you to use a tow float if you didn't have a wetsuit. You do not need a tow float if you're racing with us, so no tow floats, whether or not you've got a wetsuit on.
Okay.
Did that make sense?
Yeah, no, it did. Yeah. So I think we're pretty much covered out on the swim. Again, if you've got any questions, then drop them into us, and we'll try and hoover those up as we get towards the end there. So you'll finish the swim, you'll exit the lake, and you will then make your way, following the signs, back to transition to collect your bike. So it's about a 200-meter run, 250 meters thereabouts, run across the park. You will have bare feet, and it will be on the grass, but the grass is pretty soft and it's pretty good. So you should be okay with that. So 2 to 250 meters run back to transition. There will be a clearly marked kind of entry point to transition, where you will then navigate around to get your bike. Hopefully you remembered where it was. And then again, follow the signs out of transition and towards the mount line.
Yeah, so you're running out, pushing your bike until you get onto the driveway, into the mount line. Please don't get on your bike in transition. Get on your bike after the mount line, and then you'll head off onto the bike course, which is quite a straightforward course. You've got a bit of a hill when you first go out of out of Park Farm, that's probably the main hill on the course, and then beyond that it's pretty flat, and mostly left turns or straight ons. So it's quite an easy to follow course, but there'll be plenty of signage out there and marshals to help you along the way.
Yeah, just going back a little bit in terms of helmets again. You got to think about your helmet as being something that is obviously really, really important for safety. So it's always the first thing that you touch and the last thing that you touch. So in terms of going back into the transition, before you touch your bike, you need to put your helmet on, and then you can take your bike and leave. And similarly, when you come back after the bike leg, you then put your bike on the rack, and then you take your helmet off. So you've got to do it. It's quite important that you do it in that order. You can't disappear off with your bike and then put your helmet on.
Anytime you're touching your bike, you must already have your helmet on or still have your helmet on.
Yeah, and we do have some relay teams in the sprint.
Yes.
Sprint? Yeah, we've got some relay teams in the sprint. So again, it's in the athlete guide if you're not sure, just to kind of clarify it for yourself. You do need to, if you're the swimmer, you're going to hand over to your cyclist, then you will transfer, effectively the timing chip is the relay baton, if that makes sense. So you will hand the timing chip over to the cyclist, who will be waiting by their bike. So you need to know where their bike is going to be. So they then put their chip on. The chip must be transferred from the swimmer to the cyclist before the cyclist puts a helmet on. So you transfer the chip. They're kind of that cyclist is then in the race, if you like. They then put their helmet on, take their bike, and then they leave. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, and well, we'll come on to the transfer at the other end in a minute.
Okay. So Kai's just mentioned simple bike routes, same as last year. If you did it last year, so yeah, nice simple loop. There's a climb at the beginning and a climb at the end. Pretty much flat apart from that, really. We'll talk about rules and regulations. There are rules in terms of drafting that you need to be aware of, and we'll just cover that off towards the end. It is a non-drafting race. Okay, so you come back in from the bike route, and again, there will be a clearly marked bike in. The bike in into transition is the same entrance, if you like, as the swim in. So you will dismount at the mount before the mount line. You will then push your bike towards transition, and then around the front of transition, and then in through the entrance where you actually went in when you came out of the swim. If that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Back to your bike, back to your racking, rack your bike, and then helmet off, and get yourself ready to go onto the run. And
if you're in a relay team, again, you rack your bike, take your helmet off, and then transfer the chip to your runner. Okay. Yep.
So the run course is a new run course. It's completely different to last year. Again, I can't go through this in fine detail, really. You need to have a look at the route within the athlete guide. It's 5K. You run across Park Farm, Compton Verney. You run across Park Farm through Combrook. If you know the course, you know the hill, the back of Combrook. You won't be able to forget that one. But you run up the hill.
They didn't do it last year.
They didn't do it on the sprint.
On the sprint.
No,
they
of course
did it
they
on
didn't.
The
Yes.
distance,
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's it's a nice introduction for you. It's a nice little steep hill. Do you get nice steep hills? I don't know. Anyway, it's the hill out of Combrook, and then you cut your way through the little wooded area, down the field, and across onto the meadow at the back of Compton Verney, the big house Compton Verney. It's part of their meadow. So you follow that round through another little wood across a stream, and then loop back round from there. But it's a nice undulating multi-terrain race.
Yeah, most of it is off-road. There's a little bit on the road and a little bit on track, but otherwise it's either grass or bark chippings. It's all fairly firm underfoot, so you shouldn't need trail shoes. Normal trainers will be fine. Yeah, nice little cross country, nice views, but there are some ups and downs.
It'd be boring without that.
It would be boring. You wouldn't get the views if you didn't have the ups and downs.
Obviously, you will be weighing your timing chip. Your times will be available from StuWeb. Sometimes they issue them really quickly after the end of the race, but StuWeb will have his timing van there, and the results will be coming out as soon as they can. I think they actually might be available on their website as well.
Yeah, they're usually on live. I think provisional results anyway. We haven't said about the finish line. What they get at the finish line.
Okay, do you want to cover that?
When you the last little bit of the run is downhill through the woods, which is nice little. You can get your breath back and get yourself looking fresher for the finish line photos. You'll come out into the main event field, and you'll see the finish gantry there. There'll be photographers at the finish line, and hopefully lots of people cheering you on. As you come through the finish line, you'll get your little goodie pack and drink. Yeah. Do I need to say anything else about the finish line?
Okay,
it's at the bottom of the hill. That's a great thing.
Yeah. And once you've finished, obviously, we do have a Kate Edge from Form Sports Therapies will be there to give you a massage if you need it after your nice. Was that cut us off? No, we're still here. We got technical issues here again. There we go. Who's running this show? I think that's just cut you. No, you're still there. I think you're still there. So Kate Edge from Form Sports Therapies will be there to give you a massage if you would like that. They're 10-minute slots, and it's first come first serve. So please go and register with Kate, and then come back when it's your time in the queue to have your massage. There will be photographers around. You'll have some photographs which will be made available to you within the few days after the event from Charles Whitten Photography. So keep an eye out for that. And I think that is it. Rules. Do you want to talk about the rules, Corinne? Well, I'm going to try and switch the camera back on.
Okay, yeah, we can do. The rules. We're not going to go through all of the rules because there's a lot of rules, which we've put the link to the British Triathlon standard race rules. But the key ones I think is worth mentioning. Drafting. It is a non-drafting race, so you can't. This being the cycling section, you can't ride behind another cyclist and gain benefit from sitting behind them and drafting. So you need to keep 10 metres behind the cyclist in front of you, and if you start gaining on them, then you've got 20 seconds for sprint to pass, and then once somebody passes you, you've got 5 seconds to drop back to 10 metres. So the drafting rules are explained at the back of the athlete guide, so do have a look at those if that's something that's new to you. Also, things like littering is extremely important. You must not drop litter on the course, except for littering zones near feed stations, but actually they don't go past feed stations on the sprint, so no littering anywhere on the course. So if you've got gels or any nutrition that you're taking with you, however you carry it out, you're going to carry it back to the race finish. So if you've got pockets in your tri-suit or shorts or whatever, then keep your litter with you until the end of the race. You cannot wear any kind of headphones, bone conductors, or earpods or anything at during any part of the race. So even on the run, no headphones, please. We will be having race officials out on the bike and in transition. So if you're caught doing something that you shouldn't be doing, or so drafting, there will be penalties for those, which will be time penalties. Okay, so just know the rules. They're in the back of the athlete guide, and there's a link as well to the full rules. So please have a look at those before race day.
Yeah, just make sure it's your responsibility to know the rules. And yeah, it's a race, and it's there to be enjoyed, but also to be taken seriously. So British Triathlon are there to keep an eye on things and make sure it's all an official race as it should be. So please be aware of those rules there. I think that's pretty much the end of that. Let's just see if the cameras, thank God the camera's working again. Okay, so we've got a question come in here. Is there somewhere to leave shoes and flip-flops before the swim, or is it safe and clear to walk to the start barefoot? Well, you will be okay to walk there barefoot. Maybe we should decide on this before. I'm quite happy if you leave some flip-flops by the side and then go and retrieve them later. If you don't retrieve them, then we'll put them in a big bag and we dispose of them. We'll keep them. But no,
depends if they're good ones.
Yeah, if some people leave, and it happens quite frequently. If some people want to leave some flip-flops near to the start of the where you're going to be queuing up to get in, I don't think there's a great problem with that.
If you do leave them by the start and they're not there by the time you go and pick them up, it's probably that we've gathered them up and taken them back to race HQ. So if they're not there, then check at race HQ, because we might have thought they'd been left and forgotten.
Yeah, it's a good point actually, because there will be, where you register, there will be a little kind of corral of tents and bits and bobs. Race HQ is in there, it's black tent, so you should be able to find it quite easily. So if you've got any questions or problems or anything like that, then pop along, and hopefully someone will be there too, or there will be someone there to help you out.
Yep.
Any more questions?
I don't think so. People have asked about drop-off points for the race. Is there anywhere else they can be dropped off for the race? All parking drop-off is at the main event car park, so there's no other way into the event site other than through the main car park off Spring Lane, Combrook.
Okay. Start list. Got a question about start list?
Start list, yes. As we said, we're still waiting for a few swim times, but we will probably draw a line under those that we've got today, and then we'll be able to publish the start list and swim times tomorrow probably. But it'll certainly be before the race.
Yeah, good. I don't think there's anything else from me.
No, I think that's it in terms of questions that we've had. Yeah.
All right. We're just going to start wrapping up then. So if you're quickly typing a question, hurry up and press send, and we'll deal with it before we disappear off. But apart from that, that's pretty much it from us for today. If you do have any questions and you're watching this as a recording, because obviously it's kind of the middle of the afternoon, some of you will be at work and you'll watch the recording of this, then if you want to type your comments and questions wherever you see it, Facebook, YouTube, it should find its way through to us, and we'll do our best to hoover those up. If you're still struggling to get any information that you need, then drop an email to inquiries@do3.co.uk. Obviously, all will be there at registration to answer any questions that you have. But we said right at the start, please leave plenty of time for transition for registration. Please leave plenty of time for registration, because it will be busy, and no doubt everyone will be asking questions. So just kind of prepare yourselves for that. But yeah, all right. Anything else?
No.
Good.
Enjoy the day.
Enjoy the day, and we'll see you on Saturday evening or Sunday morning. All right. Take care. Bye bye.